Hello there, and welcome to the Out Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. This week, in preparation for The Batman, we're talking about the best Batman stories. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host, John. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready to talk about the best Batman stories.
So we're going to be talking about just like across films, TV, games, comic books, any kind of medium that, we kind of want to talk about, we'll be talking about. And this is no particular order. We're not saying what is the best or what is the worst. We're just saying these are some really cool Batman stories. And for any of you out there who want to delve into some Batman content before The Batman, I think all of these that we're going to talk about are going to be pretty safe choices. So give me one. Let's just dive straight in. Give me one on your list.
Okay, so I think we have to start with the Court of Owls.
Oh, well, I've got on mine, I do have the Scott Snyder New 52 run. In terms of modern Batman, for me, this is like the quintessential stuff.
If you want to get like into Batman, this is the stuff that you need to go through. It's very, what you said, quintessential to understanding Batman as a character, and as well, like with the other villains, and why he does this, and they're just amazing stories.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, in 2011, DC rebooted its whole universe with New 52. They created 52 comic book runs, and that eventually spanned out. And Batman was one of the ones that kind of ran from the beginning to the end, and it ended in 2016. They rebooted their universe again with Rebirth because DC are crazy like that. But what I love so much about the Scott Snyder run is every single arc is an absolute classic already. We start with the Court of Owls, which span the first 2 volumes, and then you go to Death of the Family, and then 0 Year, and then you hit Endgame and Super Heavy and Bloom, and every single one is just so fresh and new. It redefines the relationships that Batman has with people. It integrates things like the Bat family really well, while pushing forward with new characters like the Court of Owls. What an interesting concept. This underground organization that controls all of Gotham. I think it's so intelligent.
Yeah, and there are some great moments in the New 52 one that ended on a very dark note. There's one that I really want to talk about, but that's going to be a bit later. I know you got the whole New 52 list there. I was like, well,
let's just talk about it all. Like, just say it now. Like, why not?
All. From the very beginning of the New 52 one, I knew this was going to be something amazing, with the beginning of Batman talking about Gotham is, like, in this newspaper article, in adjectives. So like, Gotham is Batman City, or Gotham is Bane, Gotham is Joker. And then that's a great way of introducing Gotham in a very minimalistic way. But I don't know, it's just so amazing how he presented the villains as well, like talking about Gotham in the very beginning, and as well as introducing new villains. The Court of Owls. This was never introduced in any comic history. And the final issues in that volume was so good. Like Batman in the maze, like we never seen this side of Batman, like going crazy, trying to, escape, but as well as being tortured by the owls. And the last bit, he goes absolutely crazy, just defeating this one Talon. And it's just like, I had enough. And just that's the one bit that we haven't seen in Batman, I think.
It's safe to say that there probably will be spoilers for everything that we talk about. So in case, as I said before, these are probably, like, I recommend everything that we're going to talk about. And I think this is one of my favorite Batman runs. But I think what it does is it balances the old and the new. It's mostly new, with Bloom and the Court of Owls. But for example, you get to see a really intelligent way that it redefines Batman's origin story. It tells 0 Year, which is a year when the Riddler shuts down all of Gotham's power, and he corners it off so the rest of the world can't get there. It's very much like The Dark Knight Rises and what Bane does in that movie. And this is an event that spans throughout all of DC at this point. There are some really interesting tales of other DC heroes early in their career doing this, but this is like Batman very, very early days, and you get to see like his first interactions with the Riddler and the Joker. They tell the Joker's origin story from the Killing Joke with the Red Hood, and they do the Red Hood gang, and they have just really, Greg Capullo, his artwork throughout the whole series is incredible.
God, he's a god at working with the art.
Yeah, he's so good at it. And he does the very first Batman issue where Batman's flying through and he has a criminal under his arm. He recreates that but
Yeah,
with the Red
that
Hood
yeah.
gang. And they use the classic suit with the purple gloves, and it's so clever. And then you've got his relationship with the Joker, which they totally kind of redefine with the whole faceless Joker story. And I just think every single thing, the Graveyard Shift, Volume 6, it's whatever for me. It's kind of like it doesn't really do anything, but all the others have so much to say about Batman and integrate elements of the past and the future. The final few runs in Epilogue show like the future of Batman and like the legacy that he has. I think it was the 75th anniversary, and it was all just so clever ways of grounding it in what we have now while respecting the past and showing us what the future could be.
Yeah, and that was a really cool ending to the whole run. Something that's really simple but yet powerful at the end of it, which I find the most powerful bit in the whole DC run. Like, there's some moments that are like something that's simple, but then it's become powerful. Like at the end of Endgame, which is my absolutely favorite volume from the whole new 52 one. Is incredible. Can I spoil it? Because it is
Why
amazing.
not?
Yeah.
We've
Okay.
given a warning. If you're still here and you don't
Um,
want spoilers, go skip ahead.
Okay, so this is like the most amazing ending, or like the darkest ending to anything else. Batman fights Joker, and then there's this whole epic fight between them in this whole volume. It's mad. But then when Batman gets trapped, or I don't know, like trapped by in this cave.
They're fighting in the Batcave, like really like deep into the cave.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's all collapsing around them.
Yeah, all collapsing around them, and he dies. I don't know if you can see the quotations. Dies.
Yeah.
And
they both die. Quotation
Yeah,
marks.
They both die. But there's a great art of Batman and Joker lying down by Greg Capullo. But at the end, Alfred reads a word from Batman, like this is the last bit of Batman or
like
Bruce.
His last message, I guess.
Yeah, his last message. And his last message was cryptic. Alfred explains what this whole word means. This means that it's like the last laugh of Bruce Wayne. I don't know. It is, right? I don't know. Like, I read the whole monologue. I'm trying to decipher it. Yeah. And then, like, at the end, it reveals that the word means ha. And it shows a picture of Apollo's costume in the trash bin.
Yeah. And it really, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It's one of those things where, again, they take the ending of the Killing Joke. The Killing Joke is incredible. One of the absolute best Batman stories ever. And that ends with Batman and Joker sharing a laugh together. It's a haunting way to end this story because the Joker has really affected Batman in this story. You know, he shoots Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, in the spine and takes Commissioner Gordon through this mental funhouse. And Batman should kill him right now, and they just end up laughing together. And there are theories about how this ends, but it's a study of Batman and Joker and how similar they truly are. And in Endgame, the way that it shows at the very end that Batman understood the comedy at the final moments, and maybe he is truly as crazy as Joker and as crazy as Joker wanted to believe. And this run, you know, the whole Scott Snyder run introduced the whole 3 Joker thing as well, which is really cool. That was obviously more recently. Have you read the 3 Jokers?
Yes, I have. But the 3
I haven't
Jokers
read it. Is it any good?
It's actually good. Not the best, but it's actually good to read. Like, it has some really good mystery elements to what Joker is. But actually, the 3 Jokers was introduced in Dark Side War.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was introduced in that.
I've got that, so I should know that. I've read that. I should know that. But they introduced the fact that Joker has been living for a while. And I think they then kind of expand on that. Isn't it when Batman's got the big chair?
Yeah.
I've only read it once.
Yeah.
He's got the chair and he's like, guys, I've got my chair. I'm really clever now.
Guys, I've got my chair. I know
whose chair is it? Do you remember whose chair it is?
I don't know. But the chair was actually, it came from Final Crisis.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Morbius chair. Is it Morbius? Morbius?
Yeah. That sounds about right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Morbius the living vampire. Jared Leto's chair. You sit in that chair and my God, you know all of Jared Leto's secrets.
Oh my God, what's Jared Leto going to do? He's going to use the chair to take over DC.
Well, it's funny that you say Jared Leto because that brings me perfectly onto my next one. Suicide Squad. I'm kidding. Do you have anything else to say about the New 52, Scott Snyder run?
I think it's one of those runs that you'll never forget. The most amazing art and then the most amazing dialogue. Dialogue? Is it dialogue? I don't know. Thoughts like from Batman, like, you know.
Yeah, like his inner monologue.
Yeah, his inner monologue. My inner monologue. I know what I'm doing from day one. I'm solving crime and need coffee. So
I'm vengeance.
Yeah, a vengeance. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear more of Bat's voice.
As we know, it's kind of been a thing for a while that the Batman is going to have that voiceover. And there's a particular line in the trailer which makes me so excited, where Batman says, "This is a powder cake and Riddler's the match." It's like, it's so noir and it's so like, like it's Batman to me. And I guess the New 52 Scott Snyder run is how I define Batman, because that is pretty much my first introduction to comic book Batman. I'm so happy with it. It was just a great
Yeah,
one.
I'm so happy because I found it by accident. Like no one recommended it to me. I never knew I was going to pick up like a masterpiece. Like,
Didn't you buy volume like 9 or something first by
no.
accident?
No. You're getting ahead.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
it was 2016 or
Uh-huh.
2015. I
Uh-huh.
was in Costco, not the
Of
American
course.
Costco. There's a Costco somewhere, and I was like looking around. I was like, oh, I should get a comic book or a book or something. So I was looking around, and it was on sale. And there it was, the Court of Owls, and there was a whole. I'm not kidding. The whole of the New 52 one. It had volume 1, volume 2, volume 2, volume 4. I was like, oh my god, why is this here? So then I picked up volume 1 because I'm an idiot. I just picked up one and could have picked up like Death of the Family and Endgame. Like those were there. I was like, oh my god, why? So yeah, and then I read it and I was like, oh my god. And then I showed it to you. I was like, oh, I read this Batman thingy. I was like, I had the Batman thingy as well. I was like, we just got talking about it, and I think that's how we.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
Yeah.
I was reading Green Lantern New 52 for a while, and then I moved on to Batman, and then I found out that you were doing it as
Oh
well.
yeah, I remember you reading the Green Lantern. I was like, Green Lantern. Yeah, of course I know that character. But anyway, go and read the New 52 one. It is the most amazing comic book ones I read. So please do.
It is. It's
so
so good.
good.
Whatever story you pick, you can't really lose. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is the Lego Batman movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do
right.
have that idea.
We're going from one end to the other. We're going from like the darkest Batman to like the most goofy. And I want to say that in terms of like the Lego movies in general, none of them are as good as the Lego movie, the first one. That is just a masterpiece.
When I
Yeah,
came
go
out
on.
to watch The Kingsman, after watching it, I was like, that was something. And then I heard the Lego movie, Everything's Awesome song. I was like, oh hell yeah, the Lego movie, Everything's Awesome. I was like, everything is awesome. And then I was sitting next to my dad, and my dad was like, what the heck are you doing? I was like, Dad, this is it. This is my life. Look, everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome.
I remember when they did Lego Movie 2 and they did Everything's Not Awesome. And I was just like, and I was literally, I was doing my GCSEs. And I remember them playing that song and I me being like, yeah, that scans. That's, I relate. Yeah, that's pretty intense. But Lego Batman movie, for at least the first 3/4 of the narrative, I think the ending gets a little bit too extravagant. But, we're talking about the good here. We're not talking about the bad. We're talking about the good. This film
and the ugly
just the good.
Okay.
This film is such a celebration of everything Batman. It doesn't shy away from anything, and it's what no other Batman film will do, which is just putting everything in. And when I mean everything, like immediately the amount of villains that they threw into this, you got so many obscure Batman villains like the Condiment King and the Calculator.
I was about to say Condiment King.
Yeah, exactly. And like the Eggman and I remember all the Lego sets that came out at the time. It was heaven.
Yeah.
But what this film does so well, I think the core of the film, and it's the core of a lot of Batman stories, and I'll probably say it's quite a few times, but it's the relationship between Batman and people in general. This Batman is one who is so obsessed or concerned with being the coolest guy that he doesn't let anyone in. And obviously they're taking this to a really stupid level. At the end of the day, this is a kid's comedy, and they're not kind of treating it with the most... Yeah, he raps at the beginning.
Oh yeah, he raps. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Eminem's gonna be shaking about hearing
Eminem is quaking in his boots.
Oh god, Batman rapping. Oh god,
this is a story about Batman like accepting other people. At the beginning, it's just him and Alfred, and then obviously as the narrative goes on, he opens himself up to Robin and Batgirl. And it's such a sweet story because it understands that, no one can do it alone. And it's something that I feel like it's the heart of what something like Batman Forever tried to capture, but I think it does it a lot better. And with the Joker at the end, Batman's whole arc in the film is that he realizes, "Oh, I do need you. Like me and the Joker are two halves of a greater whole and really important to each other." I think it's just a really nice kind of meta way of retelling so many Batman stories. And there's so many great sequences. The animation is on fire. There's a great sequence where Alfred lists off all the different, he's like, Master Bruce, you're going through so many different phases, like the 1966 phase, the 1989 phase, 1992, and he just like goes through all of them, and we see like posters from like all the like Batman movies, but in like Lego form, and it's really clever and it's really sweet. And I think so many Batman stories take themselves too seriously. And I don't think there's a problem with that at all. I love it when things are serious, and Batman is the person who I think has to be like that. But I do like that this gives it a bit of comedy and a bit of, freshness, while also keeping that level of sincerity. And I don't think for the most part it ever goes too far, like something like Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and well, the first time watching it, I thought this is really goofy. But then there's a lot of heart, as you said, about the Lego Batman movie. We explored about, the relationship between the rest of the Bat family. I haven't seen the film in a while, but I remember
me neither. For all I know, this film could be absolute shit. But I remember it being good, so I'm gonna stick with that. I've got the DVD. I should probably watch it at some point.
Okay, I'm not going to put the blame on you. But anyway, I do remember having a good time watching it. But
yeah,
it's the Lego Batman.
Yeah, what more to say? I was in the cinema with my dad, and I dragged my dad to go and see this. He did not want to see it, and he was so moody that at the beginning it's Batman voiceover, and he's like, dramatic music, and my dad literally whispered to me, "I hate you." I was like, "I'm so sorry." But I had fun with it, and I think it has that value. And maybe it's just Lego, because I love Lego, and that has like resonance to me. But who knows? I think it's great.
Yeah, I dragged my dad to see it as well. I was
yes,
like, Dad, look, it's Batman in Lego form. I was like, John, you're not gonna see everything is awesome again. Listen, I love the film. Yeah, Lego Batman, I guess. I just never expected to see that in the list, but yeah.
Okay, give me another one.
Arkham City.
Oh well. I've just got the Arkham games, so let's talk about all the Arkham games.
Oh my God,
doing
you got everything. I'm
talking about them all. It's happening.
Pokemon. Oh, sorry, one thing. Anyway, right, the Arkham games. This is another thing that introduced me to Batman in combat form. I'm kidding, not combat form.
Wait. Were you getting beaten up by the Arkham games? You're like, oh, this is so cool. I just like, there's like 4 games just like surround you and just like beating you up.
Imagine just like using the Arkham games as a source of like learning combat. Okay, Batman. Okay, he does Y. Okay, I need to put down Y, and then B. Okay, B is like to do like the high kick. Yeah. Okay. And then in real life,
you're in like a fight and you're like, cape stun, and you don't. Oh shit, I don't have a cape on. Run.
And then you try to do like the counter attack using that, like, okay, I can do it, and you just get punched. Just like,
probably what would happen.
Yeah, that will probably. I'm not Batman. Anyway, yes, but okay. So this whole Arkham storyline, I don't know what the whole thing is. Storyline, I guess, because it's a bit of a mess. When you go to Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Arkham Knight a few months ago, and we're like, oh, why they couldn't do this and do that. We'll take out Arkham Knight out of the equation. We'll talk about the perfect 3 games.
If we're not going to talk about Arkham Knight, I do want to say Arkham Knight, by far, probably has the best gameplay.
Best looking gameplay.
It's a beautiful game. Even today. Like, when did it come out? Did it come out in 2016, maybe? 2015? We're 7 years later, and it still looks immensely beautiful. Like, the map is amazing. All the different skins look incredible. Even the elements of the game that I don't like the Batmobile, it all looks amazing, and the gameplay is really smooth, and it's at its best. The story, not so much, but as I say, we're talking about the best, talking about the good. So let's talk about that core original 3 Arkham games.
Yes. So Arkham Asylum. I think Arkham Asylum might be the first scariest game I ever played. Like, every time you hear Joker going bing bong or something like that, just like
Joker here. Yeah, no, it's great.
Paging I don't know what, Dr. Yates or something.
Yes. Oh yeah, Dr. Yates. I think that's right.
Oh my God. And then Killer Croc, and then that scary glitch when you try and get Scarecrow. the game kicks
Oh
you out.
yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, the fear of this game, when it tricks you into thinking that it's restarted the whole game, is amazing. It is just what, like, I remember sitting there playing it and being like, what? What? Like, I was like so annoyed. And then like they flip it and it's Joker taking Batman to the asylum, and it's so cool. And do you remember, John, you were at my house and we were playing
oh, the
Arkham?
end.
No,
Yeah.
it was the Killer Croc bit. But yeah, we did play the end, but the
Oh
Killer
my
Croc bit is
God.
what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
We were
Yes. Yes, I
shitting
do.
ourselves. We were
We were
there, like
scared.
Killer Croc could come out at any moment, and it is terrifying. And I think what this game does so well is it doesn't ground everything in reality like something like the Dark Knight trilogy. It does everything so comic booky. Killer Croc is huge. Bane is huge. They have Scarecrow with like some proper like trippy fear toxin stuff. You know, in the other games, they introduced like the Lazarus Pit and like just some really mad concepts while still keeping it fairly realistic. And I love it so much. I think, especially in the first game, I think the whole thing has like this overarching narrative of fear, and I think it's great.
Yeah, and the amount of detail goes into it. Like, there's some hidden storylines as well with the Ghost of Arkham. Was it Amadeus Arkham?
Yes. Yeah, Amadeus
Yes.
Arkham. So cool.
Incredible. And the story and the atmosphere, it just blends together so well. Traveling through the Arkham cells, and then the amount, like the scale of like the buildings, and it's so creepy, but yet you're Batman. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like so
It
surreal.
makes you
Like
feel
playing
like
it.
Batman. The tagline for the game for Arkham Asylum was literally, I'm pretty sure it's "Be the Batman," and I think I can't think of something that better describes the experience of these games. You just feel like Batman, and it's so cool. Whether you're throwing batarangs or using your grapple hook or just beating up criminals. I know it's kind of a meme at this point how Batman basically kills everyone, but when you knock out a criminal and you hear that crunch when your like fist hits the
Oh,
head or something,
oh
there's nothing
yeah.
quite as satisfying. And it blends stealth missions and boss fights and just like regular combat so well. And each game escalates it. We then take it to Arkham City, which you've got your open world and you can grapple about and fly around, and you've got different like mechanics. And I think the whole thing is
You
so
can fly.
clever.
It's like you can fly.
That's
Oh
not
my God.
flying, that's falling with style.
With these two games, they have balanced with the boss fights
Yeah.
and with the story. I think the most powerful story is Cities.
Yeah.
It's got so much with like Ra's al Ghul, Hugo
Mm.
Strange, Joker's infected. You are infected as well.
Yes.
There's so much tension. And Mr. Freeze, Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze, yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Freeze.
Freeze.
Yeah, and you're trying to get like the serum, but you have to. Oh my God, I have to play the game again. It's
The Mr. Freeze boss fight is one of the best boss fights I've ever played in any game. He's adapting. You can't use the same move twice. He will adapt to all the moves that you take. And two of the scariest boss fights, obviously we've already talked about Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze and Bane in Arkham Origins. My God. The good
my
thing
God,
about both of
Origins.
those is that you can't use the same move twice because they will counter for it. And when you've got a detective mode on in Origins and you're just being stalked by this huge hulking monster that is Bane, it's incredible. It's so effective.
Yeah, that's what the really cool bit. Like mostly with video games, like you have to use the same move for the boss fight, but you have to use different ways to take it down, and that's the really cool part about the Arkham games. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And Origins, I think Origins was the first game I played properly, and I was like, this is well good. And that was a different studio, by the way. That was Montreal.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Yes.
WB Montreal, who are going to be making the Gotham Knights game. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But I think Origins, it got so much flack at the time because it was like, oh, we're doing Joker again. But I think Origins is amazing. As I say, the Bane stuff is so good. It delves into Bane's intelligence, and I think Bane is one of my favorite. I'm going to talk about Bane separately in a little bit, but Bane's one of my favorite. He is my favorite, actually, Batman villain. And I think I love it when he outsmarts Batman because that's who he is. He's immensely intelligent. And when he discovers Batman's identity and origins and Batman can't get into touch with Alfred, it's one of the most nail-biting scenes of the whole thing. And you get loads of great things. You get Batman and Gordon's relationship started. Batman meets people like the Penguin and the Deathstroke boss fight. It's one of the best boss fights ever. It's so cool. It's what I want if we ever see Batman and Deathstroke together on the big screen. And of course, this whole story is a story about Batman and Joker. It's all about Joker is causing chaos and Batman is the antithesis of this chaos. And Joker finds Batman in Origins and Batman saves Joker, and Joker can't comprehend it. He doesn't understand. We're so alike, but yet he refuses to kill him. And you get this whole relationship throughout all of them in the end. And I think the spiritual ending of the Arkham games, to me, is that image of Batman carrying Joker's corpse out of Arkham City. Just that harrowing image of the doors opening and everyone is so lost for words and Batman is just silent and he just walks off and he just places Joker on the car and he walks off in silence. And I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, I really love playing both of those games. They're just so well crafted, and I need to play them again.
I'd love to. I mean, I know that Suicide Squad versus the Justice League is part of that universe, but I would love to return to that because I thought Gotham Knights, I really thought that was going to be in the Arkham series, but it's not. And I would love for them to return to the Arkham series. No, it's not.
I'm just so sad because I don't know why there's a recent surge of multiplayer games. Like, you need to get your friends to play some of the games, or you can do it your own. Like, I just don't get the point because.
No, I'm more of a single player guy myself.
Yeah, same. I just like if I'm with a bunch of idiots, like, how do I do Grayson? I'm like, don't use the guns. But Suicide Squad, it looks, I don't know. I just a bit worried about.
I doubt I'm gonna get it, honestly. I think Batman still towers above anyone else as the king of superhero video games. Spider-Man is also amazing, and I think he's definitely the best for Marvel, but I think Batman, call it nostalgia, call it whatever, but nothing compares to playing those Arkham games and properly feeling like you are the Batman.
God, I wish there was another Deathstroke thing, please. I want to fight
Arkham Knight, John. You get to fight Deathstroke in Arkham Knight, remember that?
I've got one word: tank.
That's why we're not talking about Arkham Knight, because there's just too many tanks.
I really want to know who just thought, like, do you remember that bit from The Dark Knight Returns where Batman has a tank when the bit he's going to fight the mutants? It's really cool looking, so we used that.
To be honest, it would be better if they actually had that big tank from The Dark Knight Returns and they actually had Batman in just like a ginormous hulking tank just crashing through Gotham. Jim's like, Batman, where are you? And he just crashes through the wall and he's like, I'm here. He's just like, that would be so funny. I want that.
Like, Jesus, Batman, what did you do? I'm like, I got this tank.
It's like the end of Spaced where they get the tank and he's like,
oh my God, yeah.
Is that what I think it is? Like, oh yes, it's amazing.
Right, what's next on your list?
Well, my next one is Knightfall. As I said, Bane.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Bane for me is the pinnacle of Batman villains. I hate him in Batman and Robin, but other than that, I think you can't go wrong with Bane.
No, Batman and Robin.
He's probably the most intimidating force that Batman has ever had physically, but also he's got those smarts. And I think Knightfall is incredible for that exact reason. Now, this is the first time that Bane was ever introduced, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but it does start with his origin story. It shows him being born in a prison and being raised in this prison and having to fight to survive. And at this point, he's not all like juiced up on Venom. And what Knightfall tracks is it tracks Batman becoming more and more tired. He's not striking that balance between Batman and Bruce Wayne, and the streets are getting darker. And what emerges out of that is Bane, who comes to Gotham and he ends up getting juiced up on Venom and famously obliterates Batman. He breaks his back and Batman is out for the taking.
My back.
My back. It's like Tobey Maguire. My back. My back.
My back.
Yeah.
And then leading Azrael to fight the other villains as well.
Yeah, Azrael becomes Batman, and it goes from Knightfall to Night Quest. I haven't read the other bit. I just read Knightfall. I haven't read the other bit.
Should, I guess. I mean, prelude to Knightfall. That was the most amazing bit I think I read.
Yes.
It's by Knightfall. That one, like, Bane's backstory, like,
Yeah.
how he became the bane of existence.
Aha. I see what you did
See what I did
there.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
I kind of think that the actual Nightfall story isn't as good as the prelude. I think showing Batman, like Bane being this creature in the shadows, who is almost like, you think about the line in The Dark Knight Rises, so you'll think darkness is your ally. You have merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. Batman is the creature in the shadows, but Bane is the shadows, and he's watching Batman the whole way through as Batman becomes more and more beat down until he takes his moment and he just pummels Batman into a pulp. And it's so shocking, and it introduces Bane as this incredible force, while at the same time showing again what all the best Batman stories do is that Batman can't do these things on his own, and that he is so self-destructive.
Knightfall really shows that, like, how he recovers but then slowly realizes about Azrael. But yeah, I haven't read Night Quest, but Nightfall, great bit of story, but it was a bit repetitive. Batman, like, getting tired, like, he hasn't got his daily coffee or something, or just
yeah. Alfred's like, sir, I promise you just have your coffee, you'll be fine. And Batman's like, no, I need my coffee, Alfred.
I need my coffee now. I was like, so we went out of your favorite Nespresso flavor. Alfred, give me the latte one. So yeah, that's how Nightfall began. But no, Bane came into play. Anyway, Knightfall. Yeah, that's an interesting read. I really like that one. Good mention.
Definitely. Yeah. So give me another one. Thumbs up indeed.
Okay. Batman, The Long Halloween.
Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Love it. That's not on my list, but yeah, go for it.
This one is another interesting read as well. When I heard that the Batman was going to be based on The Long Halloween and as well Year One, The Long Halloween surprised me. I was reading, it was a bit mix of The Godfather, but as well, with The Dark Knight. And I can really tell that Christopher Nolan took some of these elements into The Dark Knight. He did an introduction to The Long Halloween, and he talked about, like, the many inspirations from that. And
oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, he was really heavily inspired by that. And as well, Dark Victory. He was inspired by Dark Victory as well.
Yeah, Dark Victory is the sequel to Long Halloween.
Yeah, Dark Victory is the sequel.
I've only read Long Halloween and Dark Victory once, and it was a long time ago, so my memories on this are a bit sketchy, but clarify for me, is this not the first appearance of Two-Face?
When did it come out, though? Because what was the first
I believe it shows the deterioration from Harvey Dent into Two-Face.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay.
Might be wrong.
I don't know, because all I can remember was, well, I don't know what came to my mind is that I can see Two-Face in earlier comics, like in the Golden Age. That's how I can see.
Yeah, well, maybe.
There's some elements that I really like, exploring about Batman's relationship with Catwoman in this as well. And the whole narrative for this thing is really, really cool. Like, this is Batman's chasing a person who kills people on national days, like Christmas Day, Halloween, Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Isn't it Calendar Man?
No. It's a different person. They thought it was Calendar Man in the comics, but it's entirely different. The plot twist was great. I really like that. I thought that it worked well for it, and the designs is great as well. It was a bit weird, especially for Joker. Joker was really spooky in that one.
Yeah. Side note, I've just read the overview, and this is the one. It's not Two-Face's first appearance, but it does show Two-Face's origin story.
Yeah, it's really cool what they've done for this comic. I need to read it again, but it's a really good read. Like, it might be the proper beginning of, like, Batman's thoughts, because if you see, like, Batman's thoughts in Knightfall or earlier comics, it's very expositional. Like, I need to go over there and try and do that. But no, I think The Long Halloween introduces that, like, the idea of, like, the voiceover of Batman in comic book form. So really cool read. Yeah. What's next on your list?
Well, I've got the Dark Knight trilogy, of course. I mean, I don't think there's no doubt that so far this is the best Batman story on film. The story that these three films tell is just so good, It's so important and so easy to forget the context surrounding these films. Batman really was dead. Batman and Robin and Batman Forever pummeled him into the ground, and Batman Begins, this is a studio taking a risk with a director who's only had 2 films at this point, 3, sorry, and only one of them being like a studio film. And Christopher Nolan, absolute genius. We've talked about all of his films on the podcast before, but what he does here with telling this grounded story of Batman is so good. Telling the origin that had never been done before on the big screen. We'd seen the death of the Waynes. We've never seen his proper origin and the training and everything that goes into him becoming Batman, his needs to be this hero and his need for vengeance. And I think that the defining thing about this, obviously, as with everything, are the villains. You got some incredible people here. Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, as it's pronounced in this, Scarecrow, Bane, Catwoman, Two-Face, and obviously Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, sublime, absolutely incredible. And the whole the arc of this Batman that he goes through to be the hero that Gotham deserves, but maybe not the one that it needs, you know, to the loss that he experiences with Rachel and the love in his life, and Alfred continuously doing what Alfred does best and, you know, grounding him, and it all coming to a head in The Dark Knight Rises, where he has to rise again and climb out of the pit and come back to save Gotham. The whole thing is superhero storytelling at its best. None of the films were made with a sequel in mind, but each sequel builds on its predecessor so well. And I think the team did an excellent job. And there's a reason why every Batman film since, obviously there hasn't been that many, but, you know, Batman v Superman and, you know, all the Batfleck stuff has been compared to the Dark Knight trilogy because it set the bar that high. The Dark Knight might have been the first ever comic book film to reach $1 billion at the box office, which is amazing and absolutely crazy. And I just think that it redefined so much and still holds up. It's just incredible.
I completely agree. Like, first time watching it, I was just mind blown about how the stories presented it and what really defined Batman as a character in these films. Dark Knight Rises really reaches that bar. And I can tell that people were comparing it to Batfleck. And now this is going to be really interesting for Batterson. I'm going to call it Batterson. Is it?
Bat and Bats.
What? Bat and Bat. That sounded so posh.
Oh, John, don't tell them your real accent. Don't tell them your real posh accent.
No, my tea and crumpets. No.
Oh no.
My
golly.
Earl Grey. Oh no, my Earl Grey is going to be demolished. Yeah, it's great. It is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched it like.
You really should watch it again. Yeah, I watched it 2 years ago and I plan to rewatch it before the Batman. And I spent a while saying, you know, it's great, but it's not as good as people say. It's a bit overrated. And then I rewatched it and I was like, no, it's amazing. It
is amazing. It's crazy how Christopher Nolan does like other sci-fi films, but no, he does like one of the best trilogies ever made, which is like based on Batman. And it's so cool. Like, he like got it from The Long Halloween to put into this. I wonder what the other one was. I don't know.
There's so much. There's elements of crime dramas. I think one of the best parts of the trilogy is Harvey Dent, Two-Face, an incredible villain who is tainted by Gotham. And I think one of the best characters in any Batman thing is Gotham. Gotham, the city, is so important to any Batman thing, and especially in Batman Begins with the Narrows, you really see that this city creates monsters. And I am going to talk about that in a bit, but like, I think that's so important. And there's just so much stuff in this film that I love. And if you want to hear us talk more about the Dark Knight trilogy, we talked about it in our Christopher Nolan ranking. We talked about it in our best trilogies video. We might have talked about it more, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. It's so good. I think I talked about it a bit more in the ranking. Yeah, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. Give me another one.
Okay, year one.
Nice.
This is also linked to the new Batman film. This is really good. This comic book. I'm going to compare it to Snyder and then to Frank Miller's one because the difference is really interesting. So, like, you see the beginning and you fully understand the character of Batman in the New 52 one. And then Frank Miller's Batman showed the fear of Batman, like how he thought about the idea of the bat. You can see that in the New 52 one. Like in the 0 year, it did explore that. And this one, like, really thought about the idea. And it's really short. This one, I thought it was a bit longer, but no, it was a bit short, to be honest. Short and sweet. I really like the drawings, but if you've seen Frank Miller's drawings in The Dark Knight Strikes
Again. Yeah. Oh, I mean, Batman stories are so versatile. They're so diverse. I spoke
Yeah,
about
yeah.
in Lego Batman movie. You can go really goofy with it, but Frank Miller went so intense and so insanely dark, and he it's an acid trip. The Dark Knight Strikes Again, but The Dark Knight Returns, I think, is great, and I think Zack Snyder. We've talked so much about Batman v Superman. You can watch our video on that as well, but I think he translated The Dark Knight Returns really well, and this darker side of Batman that I hope they also delve into in the Batman.
Yeah, I thought Year One is a really good introduction to Batman. But again, the list is not in order. Like, everything's not in order. These are great Batman stories. With Year One and New 52, the New 52 given us, like, it's more fleshed out. This one is short and sweet, like, does that really well. But I can tell that Matt Reeves really wanted to bring this bit of the comic. Bat Reeves.
Bat Reeves. You're right. You can see that he has so much passion. Hearing him talk in DC fandom as well.
Yeah.
He's
oh my
got
God.
so
If
much
you hear
to say.
him talk, he was so passionate. He was so excited about Snyder Cut, and he was so excited about everyone's project as well. But hearing him talk about Batman was the most interesting things I've heard in my life. Like, talking about what he's going to do with the character in the film and exploring, like, darker themes in Batman, and the fact that this film is not rated R.
Oh wait,
I guess
it is rated 15 in the UK.
Yes, so that's kind of reaching over to 18.
You can get away with a lot with a PG-13. It's easy for people to forget that. You think about the Planet of the Apes trilogy, those films go really intense sometimes.
Yeah.
I rewatched them recently, and all I can say is they are cinema of the highest order. We talked about them when we did our best trilogies video, but those films could very well be R-rated, but they're not, and I think that's easy to forget.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the Batman, honestly. Yeah. This is the whole thing we're excited for, honestly. Like, we've been talking about Batman stories, like, oh my God.
I've got one more story. This is one that I revisited in a couple of years ago, and I think it holds up incredible. Like, Gotham. Just Gotham is amazing. Now, I haven't seen
Gotham.
Gotham. You know Gotham, John.
Oh, Gotham. Oh, sorry, my
not the
brain.
not the city, the show.
No, my stupid brain decided to think about, like, wait, is it a comic book? No, it's a TV show.
It's a TV show. I've seen the 60s show, which is amazing. I haven't. No, I've got all of the Batman animated series. I've got a big Blu-ray box set. That's a tongue twister. Big Blu-ray box set. I guess not tongue twister, is more just alliteration. But in my opinion, this might change, but I think Gotham is the pinnacle of Batman TV and really shows what Batman should be on TV, which is funny because it's not really Batman, but it also really, really is. Now, it starts as just like a story that's telling, like, Bruce Wayne's origin and Commissioner Gordon's origin story. But what it becomes is so good. It has such a unique take on all the villains, and it has some of my favorite live action iterations of any villain ever. Cameron Monaghan as the Joker, or, Jerome and Jeremiah in the show is...
Jerome. Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Jerome. I don't know. I just find that funny to say.
It's such a great performance, and he is one of the best Jokers who people don't talk about nearly enough. The actors of Penguin and Riddler, who are real centers of the show, the crime and the fact that, again, as I said of the Dark Knight trilogy and so many Batman stories, the show is about Gotham, the city, the people, and how this city brutalizes everyone and creates these monsters. It turns just some guy who works at GCPD into this maniacal maniac who loves riddles, and just this boy who doesn't have much money, who's working for a crime lord, into a crime lord himself, and a mad it just creates so much. And I think the story of Bruce as well, going from the night of his parents' death to this need of vengeance inside of him, and everything that he goes through, the moment where he realizes, I will not kill, and Alfred the whole time being his grounding point. It's just a brilliant show. I think it's so good, and it ends in a kind of bittersweet way. It does like a flash forward. I'd love to see a comic book or something that tells the story of it forward, and I think it's still on Netflix, but everyone should watch it. I think it's amazing. And I feel like I've been shouting to the heavens that Gotham is brilliant since 2014. And it really is. And I think it's just one of the best comic book shows ever.
Yeah.
And it's still on Netflix. So
yeah, go watch the Netflix. I was like in lockdown. To be honest, I haven't finished the show, but I do know what happens.
Depression. I'm just depressed.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Knowledgeable, understandable. But no, I was watching it in lockdown and I was like doing all the work. I was like, oh my God, like the housework, just like cleaning and doing all the stuff. And that made me happy. And I was watching Gotham at the same time. Just like, yeah, this is my show. Just watching it and just.
It's amazing. It has so much that the Batman fans everywhere will love. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's it from my list. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, I really hope the Batman is amazing, but we still have to wait. We're a month away, John. We're a month away. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I need it now. I need it to make me happy. I need it to.
Need it for my own sanity. Well, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and we hope that you enjoyed. And please check out some of these Batman stories if you want to get into the comics or any of the things. There are so many of them. I don't think you really can go wrong. There are so many people we didn't talk about. But if you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. We've got loads of DC stuff. As I say, we talked about the Dark Knight trilogy and Batman v Superman quite a bit. But next week, we're going to be doing the Book of Boba Fett. And if everyone's keeping up with that, they know that there's some pretty crazy things to talk about. So, John, you got to get watching that, buddy. And then we'll be rolling into, we're going to do the Uncharted games the week after, and then Uncharted the week after that. And then, of course, the Batman. It's going to be great. I can't wait. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do it, Outstime Film Pod. You can hear loads of opinions from me, or follow us on Outstime Film Pod on Instagram to see like all of our thumbnails done by our incredible thumbnail artist, Zane. You should see what he's doing for this video, John. Yeah, people at home can see it already on screen, but let me just send you, like, he's making loads of these of different characters, so we don't know like which one I'm gonna do, but check this out. This is so cool.
Oh, sick. Oh, dude. Best
Arkham Batman choking Lego Batman Joker, and he's got loads of ideas, so I might end up using like different ones. We never know. But and you can email us as well if you want to tell us your thoughts on some of the best Batman stories, or just anything Batman or anything in general. We will answer it on the podcast if you email us at outsidefilmpod@gmail.com. And that's everything. Take us out, John.
Right. Okay. Thank you for listening. Get vaccinated, wear your mask in the cinema, please do, because we want to keep
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And enjoy the if you liked it, like it, subscribe.
Yeah.
And yes, take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.